Okay, I got this zx6r and I posted on the forum about it because couldn't find the ignition plug, and you guys pointed out for me it is underneath the frame here, just like you said. And once I got up underneath there and looked, I could see it okay. So the reason I was looking for it was because the bottom of the ignition doesn't have the wiring at all. It's just gone. Who knows? So this diagram here is something that I drew up based off of the factory wiring diagram in the service manual. And what I did was a lot of Googling to see what other people are doing to bypass the ignition. And I found a lot of good stuff, but none of it really had a relay in it. And I just didn't feel comfortable bypassing it and putting all of the amperage through this switch, because that's essentially what happens with the Woodcraft and any other bypass that I found online. They plug and play, and that's great, but you're putting a lot of additional amperage on that switch that it wasn't necessarily engineered for. Not to say you're going to have a problem with it, because a lot of people have bought those and they work, and no one's complained. So maybe I'm just being overly cautious, who knows. So what I did, and I already taped it up so you can't really see what I did, but there's my relay. I added a plug that would plug into that factory ignition lead behind the frame, and I ran my wires. I was actually going to create kind of a Woodcraft plug-in type setup, and that's why my diagram is the way it is, showing both sides of the plug, the switch side and the lead side, with wires in between. But the plug that I got from Amazon to do this didn't fit. Go figure. So instead, I'm sure I could have found something that would have plugged right in, probably from Corsa or one of the other electrical suppliers, but instead I just went ahead and hacked into the wiring harness. So again, I kind of taped it up already, but you can see what I did here. The yellow and red wire gets cut, and the switch side gets constant power, and then the red side is your trigger for your relay. It goes up to 86. 87 is your relay output. You connect 87 to everything on the ignition lead except for the white wire, because your white wire is your constant power. You put your 100 ohm 1/8 watt resistor on the gray line, just like it is in your ignition. And then I went ahead and tapped the red and blue wire, which actually I did on the switch side, so it's a black wire. And that's pretty much it. And so after I got all that done, it took me a little bit of time, but now we turn on the bike. I can hear the fuel pump prime. I went ahead and plugged in my gauge, and so I have just learned that this bike has 37,000 miles on it. I had no idea when I got it, because obviously I couldn't turn it on. I feel like that's a lot of miles for this bike, but who knows? I don't know. I get a lot of bikes. You can kind of see I have several of them that I work on all the time. I got a big queue of bikes back there that needs work. This is my personal cafe racer project that I've been working on for 3 years, and now it has a year worth of dust on it, and so on. Like a squirrel, I got a free bike and decided to play with it. But it is 37,000 miles. This is a lot. The other bikes I get, heck, I got this bike over here is a 1981. It's got 16,000 miles on it. So I was pretty surprised to see just how many miles this thing had. I who knows? I'm not real versed in Ninja zx6rs. There happens to be one right there, but it's not mine. It's a friend of mine. And so I don't know. Is that a lot of miles? Maybe you guys can tell me. But my as you can see, my bypass worked fine. You can hear the pump prime, lights come on, and my starter button works. Tries to start, engine turns over. I don't want to try and start it too much because the I still got to clean the fuel injectors, and it's hardly got any oil in it for whatever reason, and it's hardly got any coolant in it. So, but luckily it started, or it tries to turn over. You can hear it turn over. This battery, I don't know how old this battery is, but it's actually holding a decent charge and working pretty good after I put a charger on it. So I'll still replace it, but I can't believe it, that battery actually works. I don't know how long this bike sat. It could have been 8-9 years for all I know. I mean, it had a, a ton of dirt built up on it, and over here it looked like an animal or something ate into the wiring harness. So I spent some time repairing some wires, soldering them back together, protecting them again with some tape and everything. This green wire is actually going to a ground in the harness for my new relay. I got constant power to the relay coming from that white wire. So anyway, just thought I'd share. Thanks for the help, guys. I appreciate it. I don't know. It took me longer than it should have to find that thing, but you know, I eventually got it with your help. And so I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know what else I need to look for on this thing before I go messing around. Thanks, guys. See ya.